Miss Hillard? The water's boiling. Hello!
Everyone saw Robin Williams as the funny man on screen, but Sally Field saw something more. When she opened up about his behavior on the set of the Mrs. Doubtfire set, few people knew that side of him until that moment. What did she see that made an impression that will last? Get ready to see Robin Williams in a whole new way as we find out the story behind the laughs. How they met for the first time. When Sally Field met Robin Williams for the first time, there was no fancy Hollywood party or award show going on at the time. It happened on the set of She Played Mrs. Doubtfire in 1993, a movie that would go on to become one of the most beloved, the best family comedies ever. With Chris Columbus in charge. The movie told the story of a father who, after getting divorced, he was so eager to stay close to his kids that he pretended to be old. Nanny from Scotland. The lead role of Daniel Hillard was given to Robin Williams, who changed into Sally Field, played his ex-wife Miranda, who was trying to get back together with him. To keep going and keep her kids safe. Their first meeting was more than just a meeting of two talented actors, but the start of a deep connection between them. From the time when they all walked onto the set together, there was a special energy. It wasn't Sally Field, she wasn't just acting with a comedy legend, she was in scenes with someone who there was a different spark each time the camera rolled. Williams was beloved for the way he could change things up. As the script said, he would often do a few takes and then quickly change things up. Not without warning, he would start making things up on the spot, adding lines and voices that no one saw coming. Actions that made everyday things seem extraordinary and made people laugh. At first, it might have been too much for any co-star. In spite of that, Sally Field was not any actress. She took on the challenge with poise and interest. She didn't try to beat them. His crazy impromptu music. She responded to them in real time instead, letting her character's responses seem more real and in the present instance. The scenes that were put together were a dance between planned and unplanned events. Because each take felt new, Williams never did the same thing twice. This made Field stay in the present and on the ground, which made what she did even better. The crew was always busy behind the camera, getting used to Robin's style. Chris Columbus, the director, even chose to use filming with more than one camera at the same time. He knew that trying to catch Robin's magic would be hard. It is not possible to see from a single angle. He checked to see if anything was missed. While Field watched this happen, he quickly learned to respect not only Williams' comedic genius but also his never-ending drive to make things right. He did it for more than just bragging or take over the scene. His goal was for the movie to be sincere, funny, and honest. In a way that made people feel something. They played a divorced couple, but their relationship felt warm and caring in real life. Field saw the kind man behind the jokes, someone who really cared about people and the work that they were making together. In turn, Williams praised Field's ability to remain calm, focused and emotionally available, even when he did something she didn't expect. Their connection was formed when they worked together and agreed that they were telling an important story. Their first time working together didn't go well. Just lead to a great movie. It made Field remember something for a long time. For all of her days. Their meeting wasn't just a break in the work schedule. It was the start of a friendship built on trust, fun, and respect for each other. And it had all started the day they stood next to each other, ready to bring Mrs. Doubtfire to life. There was something special about this connection that wasn't like any other. Let us look more closely at what really made their friendship stand out, and why did Sally Field and Robin Williams become friends? Turned into a story of quiet magic going on behind the scenes. Respect and creativity are at the heart of this connection. She knew right away that Robin Williams wasn't up to par from the start of their work together. Another funny guy. He was a lot more than that. His crazy energy and quick wit were already well known, but what really shocked her was how much he cared about acting. He wasn't there by himself to make people laugh. He really cared about the work, about getting the story right, and about being fully present at all times. People stood out because of that level of passion. Field, who had always been good at what she did. When Mrs. Doubtfire was being filmed, Robin stuck to a schedule. He would do 3 takes because that's what the script said. He did what was asked, did what was asked of them and what was expected of them. Then something fairy would happen. He would play after those 3 takes. He would let his thought process run wild. He would change the lines, try new voices, and change his facial expressions on the spot. And making memories that no one had written down. It would get different on set. It got electric. And alive, like anything could happen at any time. Some people like this kind of unpredictability. It could have been annoying. However, it meant something different to Sally Field. Do the work. She wasn't stuck to her lines, instead, she started responding to Robin's surprises in right now. Things started to feel more real to her. What the actors felt during the scenes wasn't they practiced all the time, but they were honest. It helped the characters seem more real and connected to each other deeply. Robin's excitement spread, and it made the Mrs. Doubtfire set feels more like a fun adventure than a job. He was going to work. Willing to try new things and be open to new ideas. Being free in that way let the cast and crew to open up and be creative. Field didn't try to be as quick or creative as Robin. Instead, she made things fair. Field stayed on the ground, while Robin often went in new directions. That difference made for strong chemistry. When they were together, humor and emotion that came from the fact that their styles were so different but still so strong. The respect they had for each other was what really made their bond stand out. Robin looked at Sally for being calm, strong, and honest about how she feels. She admired how brave he was. And a huge imagination. They both tried not to be too much like the other. They just worked together, each one makes the other stronger. It wasn't about taking the show. It was about tell the story in the most honest and moving way you can. Off camera, the same mutual respect was still there. Even when the cameras were rolling, Robin was always willing to say something nice or make someone laugh. They weren't rolling. People around him caught his attention, and he knew when someone needed help. Or a break from everything. Field also saw this side of him, and it stuck with her. It made her see that behind all the crazy characters and jokes was a kind person who wanted to make on and off the screen people feel better. Their link was quiet and not flashy. It was based on trust that was built through real teamwork and creative risk-taking. Their trust in each other let them be fully themselves, which led to the creation of something. Never forget. It was because they were close that their scenes were funny, sad, and true. Besides this unique link, Sally Field noticed something else about Robin Williams. While everyone laughed, there was something quiet going on. No one really knew that about Robin. And after many years, she finally chose to tell everyone what she had seen. A friend who knew what was going on in the room. When Sally Field heard that her dad had died, had passed away, she was on the set of Mrs. Doubtfire doing her best to act like a proper lady. She was in the camper close to the makeshift courtroom where the emotional divorce scene was being filmed. Her dad, the person, who had a stroke years before, was in a nursing home. His death hurt her a lot, even though she wanted to push through the pain, the grief was too much for her to handle. Did not cry in front of the cameras. She tried to stay strong at first. She walked onto the set and set up her camper near the courtroom. She then focused on the camera and how she acts. 2 times an Oscar winner, she had built her career on being strict, and through her grief, she planned to do something. She wasn't sad. She tried very hard to become the actress she had trained to become. Robin Williams saw it right away, though. There was a problem. He wasn't joking or pretending, he was really watching Sally. Carefully. Even though she tried to hide it, he could feel her stress and sadness. As soon as possible, he went up to her, gently, but firmly pulled her away from the set, and asked, "Are you okay?" At the worst time of the day, she told him the truth, "My father just died." What happened next showed how much he cared. He didn't think twice. "Oh my God, we need to get you out of here right away." Even though he played the lead role and helped produce the movie, he knew that Sally's health was the most important thing right then, even though they had a lot of scenes to shoot. Robin talked to director Chris right away. Columbus. He was able to change the shoot order on the spot because he also had power behind the camera. Is it possible to shoot those crossover shots in the courtroom today without Sally? Let's change things. Williams told her, she needs to go. Scenes with Sally were moved or held up. The rest of the cast and crew worked while she grieved and made funeral plans. Took over the work. They shot at me all day, Field remembered in a low voice. It wasn't just politeness for work. Robin had seen past the character and the story. To the person who helped them. He waited with her until she could leave the set. And work out plans with her brother and his family. Sally said this was a part of Robin that not many people ever saw in public. He was someone who was very sensitive and intuitive, knew how people felt and did what they could to protect them. As for Sally, she had lived in Hollywood for decades and having seen a lot of stars, it was especially moving to see someone so loved show such kindness. In the public eye. Robin cared about more than just his character and performance. He cared about his family, love, and loss, as well as the world around him. He saw how much Sally hurt and did I'm sure the whole set stopped to help her. Sally called the moment when she looked back. Never forget. She remembers sitting in that camper and not being able to think or feel anything. Keep going with your day, and then Robin's presence, which is like a friend coming to help you during a storm. He didn't make a fuss or talk loudly. There was no speech or news of anything. He knew what to do. The quiet help she got from him changed the way she will always remember him. Even though it wasn't in the script, it felt like real life on that set. Robin Williams was known for being energetic, improvising, and very funny. However, moment revealed a more profound truth. He was my friend and knew what was going on in the room. He could tell who was there. You should feel the pain and jump in right away. It was his kindness, not his jokes, that stood out the most. Even though both of them had left the big screen in Hollywood years ago, Sally told this story with new eyes and a full heart. I never shared, she said. She had told this story before. She wasn't looking for praise, she was just remembering a real human moment. What Robin did was a side of him that she said not many people saw. He really cared about her. It meant a lot to Sally because she wasn't just losing her dad, she was working far away. Taking part in a scene that had to go on. She couldn't just give up. But Robin, she was sure she didn't need to act. She could move away. She could have room. She could also be sad. That scene from Mrs. Doubtfire stands out in my mind because the movie is known for making people laugh and for using disguises. But this moment behind the scenes had real grace. People around the world knew Robin Williams as a very funny man, but Sally Field knew him that day as someone who looked out for others, was a friend, and felt other people's pain and did something about it. Robin Williams wasn't just nice to Sally Field, he was nice to everyone. Him. Let us go into more detail about another part of his personality that showed how he really was kind and generous. The mark of kindness on the past. Robin Williams was unique in more ways than just his skills and energy. It was his heart. He was always kind, not just when the cameras were rolling. Sadie Field wasn't the only one who felt how gentle he was. Everyone on the set, from the actors to people who worked with the lighting crew, felt his warmth. He took the time to see everyone and remember their names. They were friendly, asked about their days, and smiled when someone needed it. He helped people. I always like background noise more than people. Someone on the crew once talked about how Robin Woody didn't have to talk to the grips or makeup artists during lunch breaks, however he chose to do so. He saw other people. They felt seen and important to him. He was able to making people feel better just by being himself. Robin would often find a quiet place to be with someone who was having a bad day. Be there for them, whether it's with a laugh, a kind word, or just listen. This kindness went far beyond the movie sets. Robin Williams helped to start Comic Relief USA, a group that raised a lot of money to help homeless people. He gave a lot of money to causes that literacy programs, services for veterans, and groups that help people were important to him. People who are disabled. He was famous, but he used his fame to bring other people to light. He didn't just talk about change, he made it happen. He did it honestly and with a humble heart. Sally Field has talked about how Robin changed her life with a lot of emotion. Years went by, she can still feel him, though. She said, "He should be getting old like me," which is sad. In that sentence, one hurts when they miss a friend who left too soon. But there's also he had a deep understanding of what a unique person he was, with a bright light that affected everyone he met. They were friends for a lot longer than just one movie. It turned into a lasting bond, rooted in moments of laughter and moments of comfort. Sally thinks about the day Robin died a lot. Helped her get through the death of her father. That wasn't a big deal meant to make the news. That's just Robin being Robin, caring, open, and aware. He wasn't just make people laugh. They felt safe with him. Other people also saw this depth. People like Al Pacino and Ben Stiller both said that the man behind the funny was someone who really felt things. Robin was very intuitive, so he could feel pain, happiness, and tension even when people didn't say anything. Sally Field once said that a lot of people never saw that side of him. They saw the crazy jokes and the characters who talked a lot, but not the quiet empathy that made him such a great person. That's what made Robin Williams so unique. People laughed at his jokes. But it was his kindness that loved them. He could read people, feel their pain, and give them something real. In exchange, he was great at connecting with people, not just through humor but also through kindness. He did a lot more than just great work on every project he worked on. He left behind better people. He brought more joy to the sets and made strangers feel like they were friends. Was able to understand those close to him. That's what Sally Field remembers most about the legacy, not just the laughs, but the love that went into them too. That's why when people think of Robin Williams, a lot of the time, they remember the funny parts, the characters, and the voices. But those who knew, like Sally, the people who knew him best, remember how strong he was inside. Kindness makes up strength, care for others and are willing to help them without expecting anything in return. That's what he left behind. In real life as well as movies. The bad news is that there was pain behind Robin Williams's warm smile and never-ending kindness that no one really saw. Under the laughter, there was a quiet fight. Now let's talk about some of the sad and hard parts of his life that not many people ever heard about. Lasting problems and wrong diagnoses. In the last part of Robin Williams's life, the happiness and energy that had made him famous were gone. Started to fade. Behind all the laughs, smiles, and creative ideas, few people could see or understand what was going on, but it was painful. Robin Williams was in a place he rarely goes in the early months of 2014. Showed everyone His career had slowed down after being unstoppable for a while. His new TV show, The Crazy Ones, had not had the effect he had hoped for. Not many people watched, so the show was cancelled after one season. It was a big blow to someone who had spent their whole life making people laugh, doing well in the spotlight. Robin didn't just lose her job, it felt like the end of the world. By a door he always thought would stay open. At the same time, he was dealing with some very serious personal issues. Changeovers. He had just gone through a second divorce, which made him feel bad. Scars. He also got married again, hoping that his new wife Susan Schneider would make him happy. But getting used to it wasn't easy to start a new marriage while still grieving over the end of an old one and having a hard time at work. He was in the middle of two different stories and was trying to find peace while also feeling lost. Then there was more bad news. In May 2014, Parkinson's disease was found. For a man whose whole identity was based on the thought of slowly losing his quick thinking, quick movement, and sharp wit made him feel sick. Abilities was very scary. People with Parkinson's disease often shake, become stiff, and lose their memories. And changes in how they feel. Robin was already dealing with depression and anxiety, and the diagnosis made things worse. Made these feelings even worse. He began to think that his choices and the size of his world were decreasing. But what was really going on was even more heartbreaking. After he died, an autopsy showed that Robin had not only been given the wrong diagnosis, but he had also been suffering from Lewy body dementia, which is a completely different illness. This rare but dangerous brain disorder changes the way people think, remember, move, and act. It can make you very depressed, feelings of fear, confusion, and hallucinations. The symptoms come and go a lot, which even doctors are having a hard time figuring out what is going on. Robin didn't know what was really things going on in his head. He was trying to understand a storm that he didn't know what caused it. People who were close to him started to notice changes. Family and friends watched as the lively, a man they knew who was very smart became more nervous and distant. From time to time, his memory failed him. His hands were shaking. He was afraid that he would lose control of his thoughts. For someone who being spontaneous and in the moment was something they had always done, these symptoms made them feel like betrayal at its worst. Still, he didn't talk much about how much pain he was in. He still smiled at people. He still told jokes. But behind that smile was a man who was fighting a battle that was quiet and hard to understand. Robin quickly got worse. He tried to keep working, stay busy, and keep the hope alive. But the illness wouldn't go away. He began to spend more and more time alone. He didn't know what kind of help he needed or how to ask for it. The man who used to light up every room he went into started to fade away into a fog of sadness and confusion. The news of his death on August 11, 2014, shocked everyone. He had his own life in his home in California. The grief was felt all over the world and right away. Friends and fans, people at work were sad about the death of a man who had brought them so much joy. But for many, it was also that they finally understood how badly he had been hurt for the first time. It was easy to see the sad irony. Robin Williams, who was always making people laugh and feel good, had been taken over by an illness that took away that light from inside.